My name is Colin Morris. I'm the Director of Product Management for Adobe Analytics, specializing in mobile, a few things beyond that. We're really excited to have Rob here today from Sky, not only just because he's a smart cookie, but also because we see a lot of advanced thought leadership and usage of our tools through the business problems that he's chewing through. So that's always super exciting for us to see, and he'll give you some examples of that later. So quickly, just to set the stage, I want to talk a little bit about mobile and omnichannel and why we're having this conversation. So in the enterprise, we have seen that mobile has been something that people struggle with, and that goes across vertical, across size, across maturity level. And there's a few different reasons that we see that we think are indicative of this. One is that mobile teams, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this yourselves or not, are often siloed within the organizations. So they kind of act like startups within enterprises. And in a way, that's great, because you have a separate stack, you have a small team, you can iterate quickly, you can prove out something. But it's also a deterrent for a number of different things, which we'll get into in a second. But they're funded differently, and the data's in a totally different area. One of the issues that we have seen along with that is that the corporate entities or the enterprise level leadership have a hard time understanding how to invest in mobile because they don't understand how to run those businesses. And one of the things that we try to do is help organizations understand what the difference is between the mobile KPIs and, say, the web KPIs. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but a lot of the mistakes that people make is they'll conflate the two. So they'll spend $2 million launching a mobile app. They've basically Xeroxed their business principles from a website, and the app tanks, right? And it's because they didn't understand that the experience is very different, and therefore the most valuable actions that can happen within that may in fact affect a metric on the web that actually contributes more LTV to a user and ultimately has a better brand experience for these users who are clearly using mobile more now. And we see 60–70% of people's touch points are on mobile devices or connected devices now. So we want to make sure that people are lining up the data and being able to tell the bigger story of how their brand is evolving with the user experience and what that means for investing in mobile in general and the different channels. So with that, I'll let Rob take you through their philosophy and a lot of their real-world examples. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Colin. Yeah, I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into what we get up to at Sky and our approach to mobile intelligence, but what it really is our approach to omnichannel and omnichannel intelligence, understanding our customer across everywhere, where they exist, and then actioning based on what we've built up. And I think we've got quite a good amount of time towards the end for Q&A, and you guys really feel welcome to dig into some of the stuff that I've talked about. And yeah, cool. So we have just to give you a tiny bit of background onto why I find the work that we do at Sky interesting. As a digital analyst by trade, we've got 22 million customers creating vast amounts of data across many channels. That's just a huge opportunity, and they're doing all kinds of things, right? So we're providing TV through multiple channels. We've also got our phone, mobile, and broadband products. All huge opportunities for us to interact with the customer and pull back data, and then find ways to sort of trade with them more effectively, but also to service them both in a better way, but also more efficiently as well for us. So just to cut into why mobile, but really omnichannel for us is absolutely essential. 71% of our customers interact with us in 3 or more channels, and that's discounting passive channels. So that's not sitting in front of the TV. That's not what we see as an interaction. That's when our customers reach out to us and want to interact with us. And that kind of leads us to like just a reality, which is we're not creating omni-channel experiences necessarily for our customers. Our customers, I think, were always omni-channel in their behavior. They kind of don't care about what channel they choose to use. It's just whatever's convenient for them. And it's our businesses and most other businesses, to be honest, it's our responsibility to get our heads around how they behave and start to give them experiences which are suitable for them. And yeah, that's where we are, and that's why it's hugely important for us. So, here we go, cool. So one of the first things I wanted to share with you is what we call our channel battleground. What I'm showing you now on the screen is actually an imprint from our customers across 11 million households, and it allows us to get a view of their commercial relationship with us and their servicing relationship with us across all of the channels. And it's kind of two fundamentals that massively underpin our ability to do this. Our absolute focus on customer identity in all of those channels. Okay, so across all digital channels, web, app, interactive TV, so that's like the red button, and then in all of our offline channels, say where we've got someone in a contact center who's communicating with the customer. And we absolutely focus on our ability to lock onto those individuals. So concepts like deterministic device graph are super important to us. And we take like a hierarchical approach, and maybe we'll get into that in some of our Q&A actually later, given the fact that our customers are usually part of a household of multiple people, and then actually being able to separate out who those individuals are and what their relationship with us is. The second fundamental that underpins this is the concept of common customer journeys. And it's we're sort of a business which has been around between 30 and 40 years. So there are channels which have always been there, like the contact center, and then there are channels which over time we've added in, like our recent mobile apps, for example. And whilst they're all kind of unique touch points for the customer, in most cases, they rely on the same back office systems to do something. So if the customer upgrades or changes their PIN or something like that, actually they're prodding the same box in the back end somewhere. And by trying to be true to those facts, we're able to create these common definitions of journeys, which then allow us to bring it together. We've got customer identity and the common journeys. There was no reason why we couldn't go ahead and create this sort of omnichannel view of our customers. So interactions in mobile app, for example, are just they're synonymous with interactions in the contact center. It's the same thing. And now you can perhaps imagine like the commercial opportunities this gives us is huge. So understanding where we can best sell to our customers, where we can best upgrade them. But then in terms of servicing as well, like many businesses, we've got huge focus on efficiency of how we service. And whilst our contact center delivers a fantastic experience, it's human, and the costs there are significant. So identifying on a one-to-one level the opportunities to coax our customers into using digital channels is huge, and this is enabling to do this. And hopefully it's implicit in what I'm showing you that whilst this is for 11 million customers, it's built off of 11 million individual profiles. So our approach is then absolutely one-to-one rather than one fits all or even the segmented actually. I'm sure we'll dig into that a bit. So. There we go. I kind of hinted at the concept of hierarchical device graph, and it's kind of hugely important for us. As a telecommunications company, we've always sort of dealt in a currency of household, but households are made up of various people. A classic one, with having mum, dad, and several children. If I take the example, which is one for us, say viewing habits. If I was to take household viewing, where we've got someone watching Premiership football, another person who watches thriller movies, and another person who watches Detective and Peppa Pig, and, I don't know, pet patrol or whatever it is, and all of that stuff. If I was to, however brilliant the machine learning I would do on that information, however brilliant that would be, it would still come up with something which was pretty schizophrenic in terms of recommendations, because it's being built up of multiple people's behavior. And the reason why we care so much about the concept of device graph, and where mobile gives us such a powerful thing there, is the fact that the mobile interactions that we have with our customers are personal. So when we're able to bring their behavior back to all of the devices and how they ladder up into the household, we're able to identify the individuals and then deliver all of those tailored services. Kind of huge for us. And it's super important for us, moving away from advertising purely to the bill payer, for example. As a media business, it allows us to unlock all of the other people in the household, and suddenly we can advertise shaving products to one individual, B2B software to another, Walt Disney to another, and it's sort of massively multiplying our audience. So, in terms of how we're able to pull back that data and make it accessible for us to action, if I just take you through like a really simple use case, we're able to, say in our Football Score Center app, which is an app which you can get updates on all the Premiership football games, you're able to set your favorite team. Okay, and it's just one little app on one customer's device. And because of our focus on customer identification, we're able to then take that one piece of behavioral information that we've got in that one app, bring it back to our customer profile, bring it back home there, bring it back to the household, and then propagate it across all of the other devices if we want in that household. So you make bets on whether the fact that one individual is a Liverpool supporter, whether there's likelihood that the rest are, or stuff like that. Or of course you can do it on the back to the individual level as well. It's super powerful. And what do we? What's the technology that we're using in the background there? I mean, we're here at Adobe Summit, so I'm going to talk about how we use analytics and audience manager there and campaign. We use those as our endpoints. Okay, so we're delivering messaging via those tools, but the heavy lifting in terms of the omnichannel customer analysis, that's done back at base by Sky, and also the decisioning. So working out what individual offers we want to show. That's not a black box. That's not a piece of tech. That is that's us running models, algorithms to discern that, and then piping it into those other tools. And one of the things that probably in the keynote yesterday, I think it was referenced, the concept of the analytics cloud as a brand name from Adobe, bringing together Adobe Analytics and Adobe Audience Manager. I was kind of geek joking with some people yesterday about this. We kind of conceived of this on our own about 18 months ago, when we looked at how Adobe Analytics brings together customer identity using the old, and I really am getting geeky now, using the old Demdex Marketing Cloud ID concept, and we started to manage those two things together. And that's absolutely massively central to what we're doing, which kind of supports another point that I wanted to make, which is on the tech side and on the development side, Adobe's approach of using a single SDK has been massively helpful to us. Okay, so, and it's kind of a different type of point I want to make, which is just when going out to build customer intelligence and using mobile, it can be a real tussle working with mobile developers. Okay, the sprints are always short, and the priorities are many. The fact that we've got able to use a single SDK to deliver analytics, audience manager, target through the app is huge. And the fact that we're going to be able to deliver campaign in the future through that same SDK is massive for us. And it's kind of just like a cultural aspect, which is massively important for us.
Cool.
Cool. I think I was going to make a comment on how we bring our data out. And so we're an organization of just over 30,000 individuals, but we've got over 1,000. I think last count was about 1,300 users, and they're not all analysts by trade. And sort of building on that cultural aspect, we've kind of got the view of the everyman analyst. So whilst we do have about 200 dedicated analysts for digital and offline, people in UX, in mobile development, in marketing, in finance. But when I look at the user landscape of this 1,300 users, they're all over the place. And actually, we saw a huge uptick in those users and the diversity of them when Adobe launched Workspace, which is the flexible tool within Adobe Analytics, which brings the power of ad hoc, or what it used to be called, Discover, right to the front, and very quickly being able to create highly visual reporting and dashboards. The concept of curated workspaces has been hugely important for us, because there's naturally quite a big risk in democratizing this data out to everybody. So being able to say to UX designers, for example, look, here, this is where all the data for your app is, in this report suite, and we've just defined it, access for you to go directly to that. And these are the mobile-specific dimensions and metrics which use, and maybe we just throw some of them together, and that's one analyst doing that. That will then go out to a team of 40 mobile developers and allow them to be able to interact with that data without having to constantly pester my team or other analyst teams. It's really empowering for them. Yeah, and sort of why do we do that? All of this is we are trying to redefine our relationship with our customers. Back to why Omnichannel is so huge for us, and why we do any of this, and being able to put that intelligence in the hands of thousands of individuals within our organization is massive.